morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our webinar named Redefining Employee Experience for Business Growth. My name is Tsapo Gaborone, and I will be your host for today. I'm a Success Outcome Manager at Reliance Infosystems. And just to go over a few housekeeping rules before we start our webinar. Today's webinar is being recorded. All attendees are muted and their videos are off. Please use the chat window to ask questions or to drop your comments. We will be posting an important announcement at the end of this webinar, so stay tuned. So today's agenda will be packed with a lot of knowledge and a focus on the discussion on how drives business growth, future-focused strategies, and the role of technology in enhancing workplace engagement. And I'll just move on to introducing our panelists for today's webinar. So firstly, we have Eniola. Eniola is an expert in employee experience who will provide valuable perspectives on why it matters and how we can enhance it. Next, we have Ludo, who brings deep expertise in HR and management, shedding light on how leadership can drive meaningful change. And lastly, we have Oyolua, who is a specialist in technology and implementation, who will guide us through how Microsoft Viva can better workplace experience. So welcome our panelists. So before we dive into today's discussion, I'll just love to give a quick overview of who we are as Reliance. So Reliance is at the forefront of digital transformation around the world, and we've been operating for over 20 years. We've grown on focusing on key areas such as security, innovation, and helping our clients in digital transformation. We operate in over 15 markets globally. We are recognized as a Microsoft Cloud Solutions provider. We have all the 6 solution designations under the Microsoft spectrum. We have a staff complement of over 17 advanced specializations. And we have won a few awards under our Microsoft hat. Sorry about that. Under our Microsoft hat, being Microsoft Country Partner of the Year in different regions, of which recently we were recognized on a national level to win the same award in Nigeria and in Botswana. So I will move on to sharing some of the partners that we work with to bring digital transformations onto our clients' environments. These include Microsoft, which I mentioned earlier on, Cisco, just to mention a few. And these partnerships allow us to bring cutting-edge technologies and to provide end customers with innovative solutions. And at Reliance, we thrive under 4 success pillars. And these success pillars are key areas that focus on transforming businesses with new technology, improving operations to make companies more efficient, securing businesses with advanced protection, and scaling their infrastructure to migrations to the cloud. And like I mentioned, please stick around because we have a special announcement once we are done with our discussions for the day. So today we speak employee experience. What is this employee experience? Employee experience is the backbone of a thriving workplace, directly influencing productivity, engagement, and retention. Studies have shown that companies prioritizing employee experience outperform their competitors in profitability and customer satisfaction. A well-designed employee experience fosters collaboration, innovation, and a sense of purpose, ultimately translating to improved business outcomes. So without further ado, we'll start with our panel discussion. So the first to Eniola. So the first question is, what is employee experience and why is it important to business goals? The floor is yours, Eniola. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shepo. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to meet you all today. Speaking to your question, I believe you already answered, a few of it, right? So I'm probably just expatiate a little. So when we think about employee experience and what it means, right? I want us to imagine Sarah. Sarah is a new hire and it's her first day. She's nervous, she's excited, and also maybe full of potential. She's excited to come do what she has been employed to do within the organization. But the question is, what will our journey be like within your organization? How are you able to ensure that she finds purpose, meaning, and also alignment with what you do within the organization? That's what the conversation of employee experience for me is largely about. So employee experience is the entire journey that the employee takes within the organization, right from their first interview up until the last day, and even for now, beyond the last day as an alumnus of your organization. So it's the sum of every interaction, every perception. Think of it as how the employee feels about working within your organization. So every email, how it is worded, every meeting, what the conversation is about, every coffee break, how the interaction is, contributes to that feeling. So it's more about the task essentially than it is about how the task feels to the employees, right? So it encompasses the employee's entire journey, like I mentioned, and it is a very, very key important driver when it comes to engagement as well. So whether your employees feel valued, whether they feel supported, whether they feel engaged, is all important to how you create this experience. So let's speak to what employee experience is not. Employee experience is not just perks and benefits. I know that, it's a relationship that has to do with money, and that's good, right? But it's beyond that when you think about experience points. So while it's nice to have free snacks and pay your employees on time, all of these things do not fix a toxic work culture if you look at it holistically. Also, employee experience is not just employee engagement. Engagement is definitely part of the piece. That's very, very important, but that's not the whole picture. And as professionals, we need to think about the whole picture, the entire journey from end to end. Also, employee experience is not a one-size-fits-all solution. I know that, we believe that if we just do this, then this gets sorted. No. Ensuring that you're able to curate the experience in such a way that it serves the employees and it serves the business's bottom line, it's very, very important, right? So as professionals, we need to continue to evolve our practice and not to remain static, especially when something is not working. Also, employee experience is not the sole responsibility of HR professionals. And I'm sure that HR professionals on this call will be happy to hear this. No, it is not just your responsibility. Everybody gets to contribute to it because the company is not just from your bird's eye view of what is happening. So right from the CEO to the interns that you've just recruited, they all contribute to the experience, and ensuring that you provide them with a proper guide is how you as a professional can ensure that the experiences continues to be catered to at different points in time. So let's speak to also the key components that employee experience involves, right? Let's break it down a little just so that we're not saying experience. So first, I want you to think about the work environment. Imagine a cramped office versus a brightly lit one where collaboration is, where there's opportunities to, should I say, for employees to collaborate. There's a difference in that experience. And because there's a difference, there's going to be a difference in the outcome as well. office means that the chances of employee collaborating is little to none, and a well-lit, proper place. So I was speaking to their work environment, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to culture now. So part of the component as well is the culture. So picture a team where ideas are celebrated versus one where ideas are stifled. The difference in that experience, would ensure, like I mentioned before, a difference in the outcome for the organization. So you need to pay attention to the culture as well. It's a very important component. Beyond that also is technology. Think of, being forced to use a typewriter in the age where your colleagues are using laptops. The level of frustration that that person would, have to experience would be different from what their colleagues would have to deal with, right? So the ease of modern technology, efficient tools, and all of that is very important, even as you think through the experience you provide your employees. And imagine now that we are in the era of generative and agentic AI. All of these things are essential to creating a very good experience for your employees. And also, beyond that is management as well. Shepo, can you please confirm that I'm still audible?
You're audible on my end.
Awesome, thank you. So yes, management as well, away from technology, you need to consider the kind of managers that you put in place. Maybe before it was not an important priority for your organization, but management is an essential part of creating a good experience. So consider a manager who micromanages versus one that empowers. Would you like the latter versus the former? Those are the things you need to consider as you create experience. And also, again, is growth and development. A company that invests in its employees' growth versus one that does not. The chances of the employees to act differently towards the goal of the organization would also be apparent in the outcome of the business as well. And now, well-being. An organization that supports mental health versus one that ignores it, there's going to be a difference in outcome. How you treat your employees matter, and we've said that employee experience is essentially how employees feel about what is going on within their organization. But I'm going to just take a pause here and just check with everybody. Let's do a quick poll. Do you believe that employees expect leadership to be responsible for creating a positive work experience within your organization? What are your thoughts on this? Let us know. It would be great to sample your opinion on this topic as well. So while we're doing that, I'm going to move ahead to the second half of the question. And that speaks to why employee experience matter. Why should we be thinking about it, right? So why invest in creating a great experience for employees? And once again, I want us to think back to Sarah. If our experience is positive, what do we think would happen? If our experience is negative, what do we think will happen, right? Like I said, we're going back to Sarah. Imagine that Sarah feels valued, her ideas are heard, she has the tools that she needs to do the best of the job that she's able to, and she's, her growth is properly catered to, she's engaged, motivated, and all of those things, right? Contrast that to a Sarah that is feeling ignored, unsupported, the work relationship is bad, she does not feel motivated, she feels unproductive as well. Which Sarah do you think would contribute more to your business goal or to your team's success? I'd say that it's the Sarah that feels or gets a positive experience. So employee experience directly impacts on the engagement level within the organization. We can't ignore it. It's an apparent fact, right? And picking back off of that is the fact that that contributes to retention as well. Employees that feel, good about the job, like what they're doing, they feel catered to, they feel seen, they feel heard, and all of those things. The chances of them continuing to stay within the organization when all the other factors are put in place, like I mentioned, would ensure that the chances of them wanting to stay, increases as well. And beyond that is also the fact that now that people are seeing that your employees are staying, the chances that they want to find out why is always going to be there. So imagine that you put out a job ad and someone is reaching out to an existing employee within your workspace and asking about, okay, so I got this job offer and all of that. What do you think about the company and all? And your employee is saying, oh, this is a great place to work. The chances that you attract more talents like that is high, and that also promotes your brand. We see a lot of things online these days about this company did this company did that. It all comes from how their employees interact with the different people that they come in contact with on their day-to-day life, right? So employee experience directly also impacts on attracting talent and also strengthening your brand, your employer brand as well. And beyond that as well is, the opportunity that you have to create a better customer experience when you are creating good employee experience. Sarah again. I mean, I feel like I've repeated Sarah a lot of times now, but Sarah again, imagine that she's in a customer facing role. If she's happy, she would provide excellent service, or the chances of that are high anyways. A positive attitude would rub off on your customers, leading them to continue to feel satisfaction based on the conversation that they're having with her. And the chances that they will become loyal and even maybe refer your business is also high as well. So you need to think about how you create the experience that ensures that your customer's experience also becomes or continues to be great as well. And again, let's go back to Sarah. When Sarah feels comfortable sharing her ideas and her teams collaborates in a positive work environment, the new ideas are born, productivity increases, the work environment is interesting for them. Contrast that to a Sarah that is suggesting a new process and everybody is shutting that down at the first meeting or saying, no, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. Those are experience points and they are different. So, and you want to ensure also that the experience point you're creating is good enough so that it drives innovation and productivity. Because you're in leadership position does not mean you have, all the ideas in the world that needs to be executed. So ensuring that you think through your experience points carefully and creating a standard within your organization is very, very important as you go through this journey. So in essence, right, engaged employees, retained talent, happy customers, and innovative ideas, they all drive business success. And we've said it before that without employee experience, the chances of that are very low. So when we invest in Sarah, when we invest in the employees that we have within our organization in terms of experience, ultimately we are investing in the bottom line of the organization. I hope that was able to answer your question, Shepo.
Yes, Eniola, that was great. Like you actually spoke to employees' alignment to the organization's vision, which is very important. I think our attendees will take away from this as well, as you also mentioned that a happy employee great results. So this is very key in all the organizations, for all organizations out there, to also know that if you have happy employees, you tend to groom top talent. Or brew top talent within your environment. So you know that you produce good results. So when they leave, you know that you have top talent going into other organizations. So thank you very much, Eniola, for answering that. So the next question still goes back to you, Eniola. Why is there a need for us to redefine employee experience? Over to you.
Okay, so when I think about this question, my immediate answer is very simple. Organizations are struggling to meet their business goals. And in the era of generative AI, agentic AI, things are moving very fast. So imagine that an organization that is not as productive as it wants to be as at last year, now they are at a very dangerous place because there are tools that can do way faster if other organizations are leveraging that. So their competitiveness in the markets, the chances of that are reducing by the day. And how can they get to that desired future, right? This is where and why employee experience is very important because humans will drive that for you. So performance is dropping, like I mentioned, at an alarming rate. And the ripple effect of that is that profitability is also tanking, right? So but let's look at it this way. I don't want to speak off of just my head so that everybody does not think that, where's she coming from and all of those things. I want us, maybe after this call, to go back to recent reports from Gallup. Gallup is a well-known brand that, releases the state of the global workplace report yearly. So let's look back at that report, or maybe one close to home, especially if you use Microsoft, is the Microsoft Work Trend Report. Those two reports highlight major things for us. They speak about the past, they talk about what is happening in the present and the desired state that employees want to experience. So in the past, we had a traditional focused work experience where we pay you salary, we give you benefits, and you offer us the job that we require that you do, right? And for the past, a lot of emphasis was placed also on efficiency and productivity. Do, I pay. That's how we work, right? And then also, again, for the past, we had limited engagement. Not a lot of things were happening in the world of work other than I pay you for the job that you need to do. But in the present, what we're experiencing is what the reports have recorded as stagnation and now a rapid decline. And the report reveals that in terms of the trend, engagement is stagnating. Employee well-being is declining as well. People are complaining a lot about what is going on within their workforce. And this is why we have key issues like increased stress level, quietly quitting, silent resignation, rising feeling of loneliness, and even overall low engagement, right? And also employees are stressing about well-being. I want to cater to my health in as much as I'm able to, also cater to the business that's, you're paying me for at the end of the day. I don't want to sacrifice one for the other. And then there's also the challenge, should I say, of managerial impact in the world of creating experience. I think we mentioned it at the beginning that, it's not just the sole responsibility of HR. Everybody should be responsible for the experience that we are able to create within the organization. So the impact of managers is becoming greater. The expectation from them also is becoming greater because they interface more with the employees on a daily basis. So all of what we have in the past, what we are experiencing presently is what is informing the desired states of the future that we want, or should I say that employees want within the world of work. So now employees are saying we want an holistic and human-centered approach. Think about me. Think about how you can redefine the experience in such a way that it caters to me. At the end of the day, I want my physical well-being, emotional, professional well-being to be catered to while I'm catering to the business goal of the organization. And we've already established that when all of these things are covered, the chances that employees are able to do their best at that point also is increased, right? And beyond that also is the culture of engagement and empowerment that employees seek. I want a culture where I am engaged. I want a culture where I am empowered to do my very best and offer my very best to the organization. And we'll gradually move away from that and focus also on the quality of managers that we have leading our organizations today. It is impossible. I think we've established this. Maybe this is the third time I'm saying it, that HR would interface with all employees on a daily basis, especially for a large organization. Think about an organization with 200 staff and 2 HR people. It's practically impossible, right? So we need to focus on the quality of managers that we have. If we already have them in place, how are we ensuring that they are also developing so that they are better equipped to cater to the team members that they serve? Think about them in terms of coaching. Are they able to coach their teams? Are they able to mentor them? Are they able to foster a positive environment? When you provide them with a guide on how to create good experience, are they able to carry all of these things on? Right? These are the kind of things that we need to be looking out for as we appoint managers or as we train managers to become better at serving the employees that are serving the organization. And away from that is also the request for a much more personalized and flexible work environment. Don't be rigid. Just this morning, it started raining, right? And some employees want to say, oh, should we stay back home? Will I be able to? But some organization will say, no, you have to come to the office. The truth is, let's ask ourselves, do your employees need to be physically present for them to deliver on the jobs that you've given to them? Maybe you want them to come to the office, for social interaction and all of that. But on this day and at this time, when it is inconvenient for them to try and get to the office, can you allow them to work from home, right? Can you cater to the different kind of benefits that your employees, want within the organization? So personalization and flexibility is also a very key aspect of how we can get our employees to that key feature that they want. And the last thing I'll mention on this also is, continuous improvement. As the world evolves, we keep chanting the world of work is changing, the world of work is changing. We that get to create that, are we really changing our mindsets? Are we creating what will work for us as of now, or what our employees desire that we're able to provide to them? So in essence, the shift needs to be away from a one-size-fits-all approach and, towards a much more, should I say, personalized, empathetic, and maybe a little bit more engaging experience that prioritizes the well-being of the organization as well as cater to the bottom line. Yes, it may stress you at the beginning, but being able to provide that also means that you're a better professional at the end of the day, right? So let me ask this question, just so that we're able to sample your opinions as well. What resources do you think that you would need as of right now to provide a better experience within the organization that you serve? And think about digital tools, think about maybe improving communication and feedback, think about providing training and development, either for your managers or employees. Think about, a greater focus on well-being. And if the options are not in the poll, please feel free to drop it in the comments as well. We'd love to see your feedback on that. So while we're all answering the question on what resources we would need, I'll hand over the mic back to Shepo.
Thank you very much, Eniola, for that answer. So you did mention that business profitability is directly linked to redefining to redefining employee experience. So, like you said, Eniola, is not a one glove fits all. Also have different goals. So it's very important to try to cater to the different individuals with these different goals, because we don't want to have to experience those silent quittings and silent resignations where we just see performance declining, but we don't understand what is going on. So thank you very much for that answer, Eniola. So without further ado, we'll move on to the next question, which is fully packed. How do we get to that desired future of having that employee experience that we desire as an organization? So this will be engaging to all our panelists. We will have Ludo go first with our HR and management role, followed by Eniola on the employee perspective, and lastly, implementation stakeholders, team leads, and tech community. So over to you, T.
All right, thank you so much, Tebo. So Tebo, as you had mentioned, you had spoken about HR, human resource professionals, as well as management. So let's go back to the beginning. So when aiming to achieve a goal, it is important to start from the foundation, right? So therefore, we need to start by looking at the drivers, so the people that make decisions, as well as the custodians. So which in this case would be management, as well as human resource professionals. Reason being is that they are the major players, right? So let's start off by looking at management. Employee experience should be at the forefront of management's focus. There are a few reasons why this is. To start us off, one of the most important is that engaged employees are more committed to their work as well as the company's goals. So this alignment fosters a sense of belonging, which is beneficial not only for the employee, but also for the organization. And then secondly, a well-structured employee experience aligns individual goals with the company's objectives. So this alignment ensures that everyone is working towards the same mission as well as the same vision. And then lastly, management's efforts to create a good employee experience contributes to a positive as well as supportive work environment. So this environment will encourage collaboration, innovation, and a sense of community among the employees. Now, taking a look at the custodians, which we had mentioned before, human resource professionals, they need to play their role in demanding for better in terms of experience. There are two particular reasons for this. To start us off, HR is responsible for fostering positive workplace culture that aligns with the organization's goals as well as values. So this includes promoting mutual respect, diversity and inclusion, and collaboration among the employees. And then secondly, a good employee experience encourages employees to make constructive suggestions for improving processes, efficiency, as well as working conditions. So this continuous improvement benefits not only the employees, but the organization as a whole. So now that we have spoken to management as well as the human resource professionals, Eniola, I would like to throw a question to you. Can you tell us who else would be impacted?
Thank you so much, Dudu, for that. I believe that for that, typically employees will be impacted. Everybody, HR, everybody that is called an employee within that organization would be impacted by the experiences that we get to create for the organization as a whole. So employee experience will not just shift ground automatically, right? You and I as employees now in this case also play a role in getting to the future that we, because at the end of the day, we get to experience all of these things. So to aid your organization in getting to that desired state as an employee, you need to be able to provide your team with honest feedback. And I say honest feedback in the sense that it needs to be honest. I mean, we've deployed surveys before and you will find very interesting responses, but the conversations would be different, or the outcome of the conversation will be different. So try as much as possible to share your honest feedback, be open about it. If you need to use a suggestion box and all of those things, please make sure that you're leveraging those. If you do not tell people how to treat you, they may not really know. We're not mind readers ultimately, and at the end of the day, right? So express your needs and your preferences either to your managers, to your HR team. Find ways to provide that feedback to your team. Also, you want to be the employee that actively participates, because when you engage, you know what you want, you know what you don't want, you know what is working and what is not going to work for you. So engage in company initiatives, also, programs as well, designed to enhance your experience. No HR person would like to provide an opportunity for engagement and nobody takes advantage of it, because they're not trying to create the experience just for themselves. They're trying to create it for you as well. So don't stifle that opportunity for a better experience to be created overall for the organization. And know that how you participate in these things may also influence others' experience as well. So you owe them a duty of care. Also, take ownership of your development at every point in time. Don't be a victim of what happens to you. Provide, or actively, should I say, proactively seek out opportunities for growth and development within your organization. Ask questions. Oh, I believe I need this kind of training. I believe I need this. I believe I need that. Ask those things, seek them out, and then get the responses to that. Because sometimes it's when you ask that people know that, oh, so this may be a pain point for people within our organization as well. And when the change comes, please do well to embrace it. It is very, very important. Be open to new ways of working. Be open to new experience. Don't be the type to say, oh, they're trying to do this. What do you mean by that? Oh, so now is the time. Those kind of things do not help eventually when we're trying to get to the desired future, or when an organization is seeking to redefine the experience. And I'm sure that we have mostly HR professionals on this call. So it would be great that we take this back to your team. If you have an opportunity or a platform where you're able to share these kind of things, right? Take this back to your team. Let them know that this is your expectation of them as you seek to create or redefine the experiences within the organization. And can I just say that while we are seeking to ask our team all of these things and trying to get them to provide all of this feedback to us, right? It is very important that if you're asking for feedback, you need to provide them with an opportunity to actually do so. So think of listening systems that you can provide to your employees within the organization. Don't ask them a question where you've not provided them a platform for them to respond. That's just frustrating. So for us at Reliance Info Systems, what we do is that we use Viva Glint to create and gather feedbacks and while deploying surveys and all of those things. So if you're also asking them to take charge of their own development, you need to provide them with a learning environment that is in the flow of work for them to be able to do so, right? Take charge means that they should do it themselves. So provide them a platform that lets them do that, right? Also, if you want them to actively participate and embrace change, you need to provide them with a community where they can find expression and where they can provide, a guide in how you can change their journey for them at the end of the day. And for us at Reliance Info Systems, like I mentioned, what we leverage for that is, Microsoft Viva Engage, right? But I'm sure what I will discuss more on technology very soon. So I'll throw this back to Ayolo as well. What's your take on this? How do you think that we can get to that desired state in terms of creating better experience?
Thank you so much, Eniola. Wow, just listening to you and Ludo has really opened up my mind, right? It's really important that we also identify two major set of groups, right? So it's one thing for us to have technology, it's one thing for us to have different platforms and different campaigns and initiatives. But that alone does not, create culture. It does not create connection or even impact without two sets of people. And these are the team leads and the tech communities. To me, they are the real drivers of successful implementation, of adoption, and of course, long-term value. So I would talk about the team leads now. So for the team leads, I like to call them the culture translators, right? Because they basically bridge the gap, between the leadership vision and employee experience. They make any initiative relatable. They make it real. to their team members, right? It's very important that team leads own this, because we can't possibly duplicate management in every team, right? We cannot possibly duplicate the HR team in every unit of the organization. So the team leads serve as that gap, that bridge between management and the team members, right? So basically what they do is to humanize the digital tools that we decide to engage with. So you talked about creating communities, there's Viva Engage, there's Viva Learning, there are different tools, right? But the team leads ensures that the team members know the why behind the what. It's not just about having all those fancy tools. And regardless of how well it aligns with business strategy, it's also very important that every team members understand where they come in, as to what is actually the essence, what's the purpose of this initiative. So it now brings me to say that, the team leads actually personalize this adoption. They make sure that every tool or any initiative is personalized in such a way that it is relatable. All the team members have a basic understanding, a deep understanding of what the business strategy is, of what they're trying to achieve in a particular financial year. But it's very important that you personalize it in such a way that it is adopted into the flow of work, into the everyday life of the employee, because this is actually what ensures that employee engagement takes place. And also they serve as the link, the link between the tools and outcomes, right? All those tools are actually brought into the organization for a purpose. And that is where performance and conversation comes in, setting performance standards, setting performance goals, ensuring that these performance goals are smart, and also equipping them with the resources to ensure that they meet those goals. So the essence of having all these tools and technology is for performance at the end of the day, to deliver on business results. And also, it's very important that team leads ensure that there's accountability and motivation in the team, right? And this cannot happen if they don't build that safe space, the safe space to be able to ensure that that feedback takes place, that feedback conversation takes place. Eniola talked about coaching and mentoring. This is very important for the team lead, because they actually ensure that the employees take ownership of their task, and ensure that they perform excellently. And I'll also move on to the tech communities. So the tech communities are basically your IT teams, the developers, the engineers, the platform admins. So basically what they do is they are basically the enablers of experience. They ensure that there's proper integration of all the tools into the work life, into the daily life of the employee. So they ensure that there is that integration, there's smooth adoption, right? We are not all tech gurus, so you need those tech experts to ensure that there is access to resources, to policies. Eniola talked about creating communities, so they serve as the back end to all this technology, right? And also very important, they provide support. There will definitely be issues. There will definitely be tickets raised, to ensure that all issues are being met. So they provide support, and they must be in place to ensure that every challenge with access is being sorted. And also they ensure that they remove every barrier to access. So there is typically a workflow around employee experience initiatives, be it technology or even campaigns. So for the tech communities, they ensure that the workflows are properly managed, who get access to which particular information, and ensure that there is that data protection and security in data, basically. So these two groups are very, very importantly. Now, individually, they are powerful, but when they come together, when there is a synergy between the team leads and a big support from the tech communities, you tend to achieve goals faster, and you are more agile in today's working environment. And thank you. Back to you, Shepo.
Thank you very much, Ayolu, and the rest of the panelists. Thank you for sharing those key roles that will help drive us into that desired future of employee experience that we look forward to. So without further ado, I'll take how these roles that were discussed by our panelists can then translate into the key is to actually develop this employee experience within our environments. So on next, we will have the technology for employee experience, like I just mentioned. We will have Ludo look into the overview of Viva Suite with focus on engage and learning. A deep dive into Viva Engage, still by Ludo, and followed by a demo session where she will take us through some of the features of Viva Suite, while Oyolua will take us through Viva Learning. So over to you, team.
All right, thank you, Tsepo, for that introduction. So, Tsepo, we have spoken to what employee engagement is, the importance, and those that are involved in creating a good employee experience. So now let's explore how Viva enhances communication, well-being, learning, as well as goal alignment in the workplace. So we're going to dive into each Viva Suite and see how these tools can benefit your organization. So to start us off, we have Microsoft Viva Connections. So think of Viva Connections as your company's personalized intranet. What it does is that it brings together news, conversations, and resources all into one place, meaning that employees can access it easily from their daily work apps as well as devices. We have Microsoft Viva Engage. This is your internal social network, which helps employees connect as well as collaborate. So it fosters a sense of community through conversations as well as shared experiences. It also is a great tool for building workplace culture, as well as encouraging open discussions within the organization with amongst employees. We also have Viva Insights. It helps employees and businesses thrive by offering data-driven insights. So it balances productivity and well-being by analyzing work patterns. And as privacy is a priority, it ensures personal data remains protected. We also have Viva Pulse. So it is a simple yet effective tool for gathering real-time employee feedback. So what happens is that, for example, managers can run quick surveys to check on certain things like team morale, team engagement. It also helps identify challenges early and allows for managers to take action before issues escalate. We also have Viva Learning. And this is your organization's learning hub where employees can discover as well as share training materials. So it integrates with learning management systems, making it easy to access courses. And it also encourages a culture of continuous learning and upskilling. We also have Viva Glint. So Viva Glint is a powerful tool for understanding employee sentiment. So what it does is that it collects and analyzes feedback to improve engagement. It also helps employees within the organization, such as HR professionals or those that are in leadership teams, address concerns and boost workplace satisfaction. We have also Viva Goals. So what Viva Goals does is that it aligns team efforts with company priorities. So it helps track and measure progress on shared goals. So this ensures transparency, so keeps everyone on the same page within the organization. And then our last one is Viva Topics. What Viva Topics does is that it uses AI to organize as well as categorize knowledge automatically. So employees can find relevant information quickly without having to endlessly scroll. And it also reduces duplication of work as well as boosts productivity. So just all in all, Microsoft Viva is more than just a set of tools. It is a comprehensive employee experience platform. So by leveraging these solutions, organizations can foster communication, well-being, as well as growth. So now moving forward, I do want to go ahead and share my screen. At this point, I would like to take this opportunity to just show everyone on the Viva Engage platform, also just help you understand what features are offered on it, how to navigate on it, so that it's easier for you to understand what's going on. So just give me a moment to share my screen. All right, I believe my screen is up. Can someone just confirm my screen is up? All right, so this is the interface that you're welcomed by when you come into Viva Engage. So to start off, you have your homepage. Your homepage is where you can see different posts from different employees within the organization, whether it's coming from their personal account or whether it's coming from different communities as well. So what it does is that you're able to see all of that information here on your homepage. So along your homepage, you also have your own personal page, right? So this is where you're able to see all the posts that you have sent out within the organization, or rather on the platform. We also have communities. Like we had mentioned before, Viva Engage is all about communities. It's all about fostering engagement. So we have communities. You can create communities. You have two ways to create communities. You can either make them public or you can make them private, depending on what the need for the community is. We also have a section called the Leadership Corner. This is for the leaders within your organization. This is where they have an opportunity to share different insights that they want people within the organization to know about, current affairs, all that information specifically to be shared with those that are in the organization. I'm going to take you through the section called Answers. Later on, I am going to take you through different posting features. There are 5 that the platform offers. So this one, I'm just going to be focusing on question and poll. So anytime somebody within the organization posts, once again, whether it's from their personal or whether it's from a different community, they have a section where they can come and find the answers for those questions or the poll questions. That way it reduces the amount of time that an employee has to go through the platform and endlessly scroll, having to look for information. All those answers will be put in one area so that you're able to get easy access to those answers. We also have the storyline. So the storyline can be viewed in 2 ways. You can view it in terms of feed. When you have the feed option, this is storyline content from across your organization. And then you can also view it from following. This would be storyline content from people that you follow on the platform. And then we also have our analytics section. So for those, for example, who are human resource professionals, when you are working on reports and you need data to back up your reports, you have a section over here to extract this data. So the analytics have been put into different segments. You can view from the network, from your personal. If you've created a community before, when you have different communities, you'll be able to get the analytics from here as well as your campaigns as well. Now, the beauty in having this section with the analytics is that you have the ability to be able to curate the timeline as well as maybe, for example, the different community that you want information specifically from. Now, I want to take you through the 5 different posting features. So to start us off, we have the discussion. The discussion is just your standard posting forms. So you would simply just put a write-up in. You also have the ability to send files, or rather attach files, attach images, attach folders as well, if need be as well. So alongside our discussion, we have our question feature. So the question feature, the way it works is that you have a section at the top where you would input your question. If you feel like you want to add any additional information to help support that question, you have the opportunity to do that below that as well. We have the praise feature. The praise feature, most times I like to use praise and spotlight interchangeably. You have the ability to select employees within your organization or maybe team members within your organization who you'd like to spotlight. And then you have a section underneath where you can go ahead and put a write-up to praise or spotlight that employee. Then we have the poll feature. Now, I'm sure some people are wondering, what is the difference between poll and question, or why can't I just use one? When you're looking at the poll feature, you'll see that there is a section underneath where you can add additional information, right? Whereas when you're looking at the poll, you put the question in and then you have specific answers that you have to select from. So that's why you can use the two interchangeably and on what it is that you're looking for. The beauty that comes with polls is that you also have the ability to get real-time answers. So as people are continuously picking the option that they resonate the best with, you are able to get updated on the platform as you go. You don't have to keep on refreshing it. You're able to see it as you go along. And then lastly, we have the article feature. So the article feature is more or less, if I had to give another example, it's like working on Word, but just on the platform. So you have the different options that are offered on Word also here on this platform. For example, you have the ability to use text styles, you have the ability to embed images in between the different texts and all of that. If you don't want to work on the platform, whether it's an article or a newsletter, whatever it is that you're sending out on the platform, you also have the ability to also import a document that you'd already worked on onto the platform as well. So now I'm just going to take you back. I'm just going to use the discussion as an example. I want everyone to just look at this where my cursor is, if I may say. This is called the announcement feature. Now, once you enable this announcement feature, you get 3 types of notifications. The first notification you will get is a pop-up, the same as that of a Teams chat. If you miss that pop-up, another one will also be sent out on your activity bar. So for example, right now I'm presenting, if anything is sent out, I won't be able to see the pop-up. However, when I do go back, I'll be able to see it on my activity bar. If you're still not on the actual platform, another email can also be sent to you on your email. So you're able to still be in tune, engaged with what is going on within the organization as well. Now, the platform also offers you the ability to be able to schedule as well as make edits to different posts. So if you are in a situation where you need to reschedule a post, you have the ability to simply come to the draft section and make those changes as need be. If it's within the write-up, you also have the ability to do that. And then lastly, I want to take you through campaigns. We also have another feature called campaigns. So just not to confuse anybody, you have the ability to create campaigns within communities. So for right now, I'm going to use a specific campaign. A specific community, which is called the All Company community that we use here within the organization, which has all of our employees inside. And I'm going to use a campaign within that community called Project Nesta. So when you're looking at campaigns, I'm sure some people are also wondering once again, what's the difference between campaigns and communities? Campaigns offers you a unique hashtag. Let me start off with a hashtag, a unique hashtag. So for example, if I was to see this particular post on my homepage, for example, the moment I go ahead and click on that unique hashtag, it will direct me right into this campaign. Once again, meaning that an employee doesn't have to endlessly scroll through the platform trying to look for the information, trying to find out where that information is placed. They have the ability to be able to just click on it and then they'll be directed into it. Another plus for using campaigns is that if there's a specific initiative that you're trying to drive within your organization, you can keep all that information in one place. That way, once again, people don't have to endlessly scroll on the platform. But that's all I have today for Viva Engage. I would like to just hand over to my colleague Ayo, who will take us through Viva Learning Platform.
Okay, thank you very much, Ludo. That was quite insightful. So I will just be moving to Viva Learning. So like we all know, Viva development is a major part of the employee experience, right? Because this ensures that our people are well equipped to perform, right? And so the Viva Learning is such a powerful tool. Firstly, because it's infused into the flow of work. Like we can see here, this is the Microsoft Suite, this Microsoft Viva Suite, and we have Viva Learning that embedded into the suite. So you can be having a chat with a colleague, and then you see a pop-up of a course to take or to complete, So basically it's infused into the flow of work, right? You can always take any course, as you work. So the home page is basically a bouquet of different courses. As you can see on my home page, you see where they have trending. So trending literally means that this particular course is trending in the organization. So that means a number of people are actually going to this course. So if you are curious about it, you can just click on it and check what is going on. Another big functionality of Viva Learning is the ability to take on third-party learning platforms, right? So you can actually have integrated with the Viva Learning, LinkedIn Learning, you can integrate Coursera, you can integrate Go4, you can integrate Pluralsight. I mean, you can integrate up to 10 external or third-party learning resources, right? So this just gives you options to choose from, as far as learning is concerned. You can decide to take courses from different platforms all in one platform, right? So as we can see here, you have your Reliance Academy. Now, for Reliance Academy is our in-house learning hub. So what we did here was to curate a number of courses, that talks to our internal processes. For instance, you can see here, understanding and setting your OKRs. Now, this is an internal course that was created by one of our employees in the HR space, right? So what this says is that Viva Learning gives you the opportunity to create your own courses and upload it into the platform, right? And also you have other third-party learning resources, just like I mentioned. You can see here, you have your Coursera, you have courses on LinkedIn Learning as well. You can take courses on LinkedIn Learning all in one platform. And also Microsoft 365 training. So Microsoft 365 training is exclusive to Viva Learning. So once you have this tool, you can be able to access courses that are powered by Microsoft 365 training. And also Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn is also exclusive to Viva Learning. You can take courses around Microsoft products, certifications around Microsoft products as well. You can take it there. And also to track your learning, you just click on My Learning tab. So My Learning tab basically makes you track your learning progress, right? So you're taking a number of courses and you want to keep track of where you are as regards your courses. So probably you have a training plan, at the start of the year or the start of a quarter. This is the best place to check your progress level. So as you can see here, I have about 4 courses that have been bookmarked just for easy access. Collection, I have 1 collection. So the collections basically are courses that you have curated to take, right? Recommended to you. I have no recommended courses that have been recommended to me. But if you have been recommended courses, you would see it in this tab. So that means you can actually get courses probably from your colleagues, your learning manager, your team lead as well. And I have about 14 courses in progress, right? And 1 course completed. So basically, this tool gives you the opportunity to track your learning progress as much as possible. Now, also embedded into the platform is the Microsoft Copilot Academy. So this gives you more insight into Copilot. It makes you understand how it can be infused into your everyday life as you work, right? So there's a course, there's a learning path already embedded into Viva Learning that takes you through the entire program. Also for Manage, now as a colleague or as a line manager or a team lead or a learning manager or HR manager, whichever the case may be, you have the opportunity to recommend courses to your team members, to a community, or to any employee in the organization. Now, as you can see here, I have some courses that I've recommended to some of my colleagues and my team members in the organization, so you can actually recommend courses. So when you're talking about having a learning path, this is the best place to actually curate those type of courses in such a way that the employee can take the courses in a particular progression, right? So this gives you that opportunity. Now, there are many functionalities of Viva Learning, but we would stop here. But basically, these are the major highlights of the tool. Back to you, Shepo.
Thank you very much, Oyoluwa and Ludo, for that extensive demo. So there are tools out there to help us in terms of building this employee experience that we've been talking about today. So I see that Viva Suite actually is packed, and we need to derive a value from it, because some of us do have it in our environments. It's just that we haven't really looked that much, really explore more on this technology to build this employee experience and get to that desired future. So we are still on the technology to build employee experience. So I'll give the floor over to Oyoluwa to speak about legal and compliance considerations in learning and Viva Learning and its impacts. So over to you, Oyoluwa.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'll be talking about the Skills Development Act and also how Viva Learning plays a critical role in ensuring compliance. So in South Africa, there is a Learning and Development Act, which is the Skills Development Act, right? And this Skills Development Act is so interesting, but it's very important not to see it just as a compliance thing, right? It's actually a strategic initiative, because it addresses the skills shortages in South Africa, to basically promote workplace learning, ensure that every employee in organizations in South Africa have access to development opportunities, right? So it is not secluded to a particular set of organization. And so the legal framework basically aims to uplift the skills levels of the workforce, right? To improve productivity and to encourage a culture of lifelong learning. And talking about the compliance bit of it, right? It is a requirement for every organization to remit at least 1% of their total payroll, which is basically called the Skills Development Levy. So it's very important as a compliance objective to remit or contribute 1% of your total payroll. And if you are able, so you can actually get up to 20% back from the government on this if you are able to submit a workplace skills plan an annual training report, right? So basically, this ensures that you, as an organization, you have a training plan, a development plan for every employee in the organization. And then you need to be able to report implementation of that plan to be able to get back 20% of what you have contributed, right? So this is very, very important, right, to every employer in South Africa. Now, how does Viva Learning come to help and make this a strategic business goal, right? So Viva Learning supports compliance and value of the Skills Development Act, right? Because it is a centralized learning hub for learning journeys, right? And part of what the Skills Development Act seeks to achieve is to ensure access to learning resources for every employee in South Africa. And of course, you have a variety of courses on Viva Learning, from business to technology, to compliance, to legal. There are different topics that you can get on the Viva Learning platform. So the Viva Learning platform helps to sort out this plan, not only in terms of having a learning plan, but also in its implementation. And this even makes it a bit more easier to achieve. I mean, it's virtual, it's also something that you can always fall back on, because it's a self-paced learning tool. So you can always, start off a course and complete it later at your own pace, of course, within a particular period of time. So this gives you opportunity to be able to implement the training plan that you have. And also in terms of reporting, like I said, for you to get back your 20% of what you have remitted, you need to be able to show a report of implementation. And the Viva Learning gives you this opportunity to do so, right? Because it has a back-end admin platform where you can actually see the progress of the learnings of all your employees in the organization. So this gives the opportunity to be able to get back your remittance, 20% of what you have remitted. And of course, very importantly, Viva Learning promotes a learning culture in the organization. Just like I said, the Skills Development Act is not just a compliance initiative, right? It's also a strategic and business goal. And the business goal for every organization is to ensure that it promotes a learning culture. When you have your Viva Learning that is infused into the flow of work, you are promoting a learning culture. So this is how Viva Learning can actually help you to be compliant and promote a learning culture. Thank you very much. And just to end on this note, we would like to send out a poll. I know we've talked about different tools. We would like to hear your thoughts around, the tools that that stand out. Please, can we push out that poll so that we can get a feel of what we really are interested in learning more about? Thank you. Back to you, Shepo.
Thank you very much, Oyolua, for sharing that. And I just want to say it's very commendable how South Africa has taken an initiative in investing in the employees' learning and development. So you are doing a great. So now we'll move on to a Q&A session for the next 5 minutes from our audience to ask our panelists questions. Just drop your questions on the chat window so that our panelists can get a chance to answer those questions that you have. Questions regarding the technology, that we just discussed. Any question you have for any of our panelists from the discussions that they had today, you're free to ask. Please feel free to drop your questions and comments, team. While we await for your questions and comments, we'll move on to the special announcement that I had mentioned earlier on. So the special announcement is that Reliance Infosystems is offering all attendees a complimentary one-on-one advisory session. You can use the link or scan the QR code today. Please provide your contact details so that you take advantage of this offer. Thank you. We await for your questions and comments, team. We can scan that QR code for that free one-on-one. Yes, we just dropped it on the chat window as well. The link is there as well. That free advisory session I just mentioned. Still waiting for your comments and questions. Okay. Or comments. We'd like to thank you for attending our webinar today and getting to find it very insightful. And we hope that you will explore more on VivaSuite, as it's also free, and also follow us on our different platforms as per the QR codes shared on the screen right now. You can scan and follow us on these QR codes to know more about who we are and what we can offer your organizations. So thank you very much for attending our session today. We hope you found the session very insightful. Thank you and enjoy the rest.